All right, let's what this. This one. Yeah. All right, so take your times. Decide how many group members. Apart from that, we will run. The next thing we want to do is I'm going to randomize your groups with the topic, and after that, I will explain for that. This one's so why I'm looking for, and how can you find information, so what I'm expecting as well. So let's you can like get into the end of your journey. So cap. So on the question about here, like especially about diagram, illustrate company measure operation in other words. I mean, like, is it related like for you lads be able to work at consulting as well? Like the first key thing is that like how can you be able to understand fully your client's business model, right? That the key main things. How can you be able to do that as well? And is it thoughtful? Is it legal or somehow? So you can be able to like understand that how it works, right? Then those uh it's very straightforward as well. So if you be able to grab that idea, I think you can prepare for like if you want to like choosing consulting as a choice as well. Like the idea is that onward you have to understand the business model, right? That's the key factor. How can they make money? Where they save money? What factors help them to reduce taxations and so on as well. So this business model is the one that tackles most of the things. Like so, you should be able to draw up diagrams to illustrate that. All right. So let's say you remind your company. Right. You got like say. mm, Just over here. Mhm. All right. Happy. All right. Seem happy, right? Isn't it? All right. 7. Is it not right? Not entirely sure about that. Oh, anyway, mm, and do some work at first. All right, look once. You ready to go? All right. Oh, all right, you need to go. All right, look at you. The second one. Mm, as well. That's one. And good luck with that as well. Fairly complex. Seven is makes things very complex as well, especially for the organizations. And don't know why. Honestly. number 4. This one. Okay. This one. Oh. Last but not least, well, we got 2 visibilities in the on that. Right, you guys understand your group, isn't it? Right. So what you don't need to write any report, right? You don't have to write report just for your presentations, and because you only count for 10% as just one, so you probably don't need to write any report. And that's the key things. And you're going to do presentation within 20 minutes, and you got 10 minutes for questions. That's the key things. And for presentation, so the first basic question is that you're going to report the financial result of companies and compare to industry within that country. Well, country and for 5 years, given 5 years. Not bad. How many subsidiaries the company have? How many subsidiaries with less than 50%? Shareholder, what reason they create so many? Do they own other as well? So that's really like why I'm asking for that as well. So you're starting to deal with multinational companies and you later as well, and hopefully like you be able to work and with that the companies and pursue your career with that as well. Basically like it is very safe choice as well. So well, for the safe choice and for if you work in finance and especially for like a consulting business, and that I'm talking about strategic management as well. The thing is that like if you look at the company, you will should be able to identify like how many subsidiaries at the company got, right? Saying how many countries they operate. What reason for them to create so many? Do they have any meaning for that as well? So that's a question to try to be able to fulfill that answer. Firstly, and secondly, the tax haven. Why country allow this to happen? Tax haven. Does anyone understand the word tax haven as well? No.
So the company will open an office or a branch in a place where the tax is very low.
Yes, basically it does. If they one of their sub companies and they will transfer all their revenues, basically income for the country, so they can be taxed lower as well, right? So what happened for the country for that one? So you can understand that a lot of the tax haven happen in like they from uh 1800, well 200 years ago, so pretty big long time ago, and most country we operate in Caribbean, and recently they opened in other country as well. So maybe that the first things. The second thing is that because of tax haven, do America lose money? Do British lose money as well or not? So you can understand that the they American and the British and all other country we call OECD. That the OECD, that is these organizations comprise of like 33 companies, also 33 countries who detect who define the regulation for tax haven as well. So why is that? Why the country allow this to happen? So that's a question I'm going to ask you as well. So you can understand that for I can give you an idea for that as well. So because of tax havens, this one, okay. All right, you can see on the headlines very absurd, right? Absurd information, right? Is it? All right, so you got like SCB 44 billions, crazy rising, and Microsoft is like only about 29 billions in tax payments. It's a lot, like 29 billion is a very like, high number. And the thing is that like because Microsoft utilized the how the system work as well in into finance, and like they can be able to like move money around in the country with Puerto Rico, the plane, and Singapore as well. So be able to reduce the tax payment fairly a lot, right? So you can understand that American lose money, do American lose money, and when any system that interact with the Americans, right, or or the Europe as well, normally they will volatilize. Also, they volatilize. They will take action against that effect. So, however, the tax haven situation had been going on for years, right? For so centuries, right? 100 years, so more than that. So it means that the countries, developed countries, greatly benefit from that. So that's why they allow this to happen. So the question is that how is it benefit the tax haven really benefit the first world country, right? So that's the key issues. I want to you guys to have a group and this one. Any more question from that? So the number one, two, three, you can understand?
So may I ask about the question one?
Yes, do you
Uh,
do.
it say that we compare the industry within that country. Country mean the headquarter of the
Yes,
corporation, right?
yes, it has headquarter.
Okay, okay, okay. So I got it. Thank you.
All right. So any more questions? Any more question? All right. So first one is in between your country, right? Between the headquarter country. Probably like everything would be on Yahoo Finance of Bloomberg. So depends. So you can find information right down. It's easy, right? It's nothing much from that. How many subsidiaries the company have? How many subsidiaries with less than 50%? This one as well. This one try to read the report of balances as well. They do report fairly about how many company they own as well. Yes, they do. You can get information and you can understand a bit more how the corporation build out. And the next thing is about understand about tax haven, right? Why country allow this to happen? Uh, why this one is crucial question is that like do you understand that if like Vietnamese as well or other countries when other countries interfere with our interest, we are not happy, right? We're not happy, and other countries we're not happy, and we will find a way to reduce that effect. That's the key thing, right? So, however, like tax havens, and the narrative is that the narrative is a lot people don't happy with tax haven, right? People in these countries we're not happy with tax haven, and what happened? They will boycott the products, right? the the closest that you got that in our countries, in Vietnam countries, is the PepsiCo or Coca-Cola as well. So people volatile, people don't happy for the reason that for 10 years they don't pay any tax, right? In the other country, in the US, in the UK, is about Starbucks, right? The Starbucks for many years they don't pay any tax as well. So this kind of thing happen, right? And however, the government allowed this to happen. The key thing, the government allowed this to happen, right? So they allowed this process to happen as well. So create the diagram that, so the thing is that when it's happening, there is some benefit from that. So there should be benefit from keeping that thing happen, right? Operations, and actually like in the history in history, but in for but in 100 years ago, and the law in the British they promote that system and backed by the bankers to the governments in the British parliaments. So from that time, it's been allowed this to happen as well. So it's similar things like Israel and Palestine as well. So they can establish some the country to certain to have certain privilege at some point. That's the key things. So remember, like if you can be able to answer this one, you understand a bit more about the complex system as well. So the next key thing is that like you know that they how the operations over the world. So it means like they ship they for instance like we don't have Nike over here, but Nike going to buy a lot of raw material from China, and maybe when they give a subcontract to Vietnamese companies. So we buy product from buy raw material from China. We import it to the Nike factory over here, or maybe it's a subcontract factories, and we assembly. I mean, like we put it together, and that's it. That's how the system works. Like the country or the companies will find uh, good places, got the most comparable advantage to produce certain things. What does it mean? It means if you can buy at a certain country very cheap products, you can ship to other. You should take advantage of the situation and take that resources and bring it to and sell it assemble it together and sell it with higher market price. So that's how they do it, right? By doing so, the key thing is that they do apply the transfer pricing legally. Transfer pricing is that transfer pricing is the methods. So anyone of you like be able had interest in transfer pricing before or look or think about it before? Or it's just the first time you come across with the meaning of word transfer pricing? That's all over here. Anyone? Any idea?
So most of what I know about this is that the company will record internal transaction, like the cost of the company, like the branches of of that company, they interact with each other, they enter the transaction with each other, and like the values they do not go out that chain, so they are not charged tax.
All right, transfer pricing is basically they got a four methods basically that, and you read the four methods. You don't have to go deep into that because if you four method basically is that they will move, they will try to increase the cost, right, and moving the profit to the country pay the least tax. Yeah, you understand? By in different ways, right? They can use in different method as well. I want a simple method. I give you an example like PepsiCo, right? PepsiCo, who own the brand PepsiCo? Who own the brand PepsiCo? So not within the Vietnamese, right? So the companies own the PepsiCo brand will be some country will stay in the tax haven country. Basically that will be Singapore as well. Relative low, not too low, but like enough. Singapore is the key example. Like how can they really utilize the world the tax system in the world as well. Singapore and Hong Kong is two countries in our Asia. They charge supremely low level of taxation. So basically, that if you open the company in the Singapore and you want to keep that profit within Singapore, relatively low, right? They charge about 5%, like 5%. In Vietnamese, we charge about 20%, so it will be 15% differences. And the funny though is that, like, how the country only charge 5% still can be able to operate in the first world level, right? So it's a different story, but I'll tell you later. But like back to the transfer pricing, legally, transfer pricing is that they will transfer the pro. I mean the they will increase the cost in the country that doesn't have the favorable taxations. However, in the country they do have very uh, abundant resources, right? Abundant resources means what? Like in the country they can be able to produce certain products at very low price. Like for instance, in Vietnam, right, we the one thing that we kept very upset about that is the salary, right? Basically, in South Asia, we you cap the lowest, right? So you travel a bit, you see that it's quite kept quite low as well. The every salary is low, so that so for multinational companies, they see that is advantage. So for you can they can produce that thing in Vietnam and they can send it to other country, right? And they can get arbitrage from your work, right? Your work they arbitrage that. So and in PepsiCo, like the one thing that they will track the price of goodwill, right? So it can be like cost of product, the raw material, right? And work, you got to work right, as well. Cost goes out, right? So plus you're going to the total cost, right? You got this one, whatever, a couple of products, and after that you got operational expenses. You got operational expenses, all right. And we got like and plus and this one we with the goodwill we expand. Goodwill is what goodwill is the values of the brand is the part the pattern sorry space the legal right to use this image. So we call like the goodwill's value as in the goodwill cost as well. So let's say by using selling Vietnamese in Vietnamese market, they make about 10 billion in net profit. Is it net? As it profit before tax? Sorry, before tax and interest. So after interest, okay. After interest, okay. After interest, okay. And after that figure, what happened? They going to add something we call like goodwill fee as well. What happened? Let's say they say about like we earn about 3 million before tax, right? So 3 million. What happened? They said our goodwill will be 2 million, right? So we only be able to charge the tax of 1 million. However, in reality, they say the goodwill will be 4 million. So they making loss. They don't want to pay any taxes. You understand? Hello. All right, so I give you about like 30 minutes, and you go form your groups and discuss on that, and I will ask you how far you can go with this exercise. So basically, if you can set times, do this with your team today, and so back to this one. I want to ask like when you want to do presentations. Where is that? Um, right, any questions about that? Hello. About it, that last group is yes, not this week, but the week after. It's about this one. So you get busy. This one has like your friend, right? Your friend, right? Got very busy, right? Isn't it? No. Hello.
So it means that we will present on that week, right?
Yes, but like your friend, I'm planning to do that as well. But like your friend says, like you can have a lot of presentation at this week. Sorry, at that week.
I mean, our class will present. The deadline will be on
The
on that week
second one.
too.
See, not the week two, the third one, I think. You get busy this one. So probably about let's say the night or 10 remove because let's say like sorry let's say it's over here like you look at the timetable chart for here like this week right, isn't it? This week I will give you the idea sorry, the topic for you to for your country presentations. We'll be linked to country deficits and a bit of calculation but like with fun as well. Don't have to write a lot. Don't have to think a lot of information over here. But over here you get going to do with your country deficit over here, and for the presentation could be on here and the week after 2 weeks. Right, this one. Right, got it. Any more questions? So everyone agree with you going to present your works at the by the 10 April. So we are going to record that one. And number two is about two. Hang on. So think about that. Let's discuss the one key question about that, like tax havens. So apparently, like you can understand, a tax haven will reduce the tax payment from the company within for that country, right? Isn't this? So for instance, like Vietnamese, or like, let's say Singapore, VinFast, for instance, like a lot of people don't happy with the fact that VinFast opened the company within Singapore. Right, and people assume that they will transfer all revenue and profits go to Singapore companies and they don't pay any tax in Vietnam, right? And we kind of unhappy with that. Correct? So understand for the fact that is that true or not? As Vietnamese lose out the tax benefit, right? Isn't it? Any idea? So any more question? Any more question about that? Let's why tax haven appear in the international finance system? Is that like every companies like big corporations, the purpose is that is they have to save the money, right? They have to reduce the cost, right? Isn't it? And the taxation is kind of one of the biggest costs appear for this company when they make money, right? So so the But any question about that? So can you be able to answer the question about like how can you use like what is the best side of tax haven? What is the good side of that one? Because basically, like most of multinational companies in the world right now, somehow they will have to utilize that system to reduce the tax payments. right? For instance, like in other countries, and mostly it's to reduce tax. That's it. Mostly to reduce tax. Nothing more, nothing less. They will place the factory. They will place anything to their to save the cost and bring more money back home. That's the key issue. Hello, any interactions?
So I think one good side of the tax haven is that the higher profit the company can earn, so they can reinvest that profit into the economic growth. So it's kind of a positive thing about the tax haven for the developed countries.
Why they don't reduce the tax within their country? You understand, right? So it's very good sign, isn't it? So why don't they just, let's say the British, the UK, right? Why don't they just reduce the tax? Oh, even America? Why not, right? Why not, right? There's no point, isn't it? Right? So why go to other countries to open this one, right? So the purpose of like have more money to reinvest in the future doesn't work, right? If it works, they do it already.
Yeah.
And so you have to think about that. Like the developed country, they lose tax, right? A lot of company moving their profits move over in the tax havens. It's mean like they're losing billion, right? Isn't it? And for instance, you can see like if American like 29 billions, it kind of like a big war, isn't it? So it's that they can move a lot of military power or something, or you can using like politicals as well as economic tariff. I mean like barrier to employ these tax haven countries, right? So because they do very nasty thing to American, for instance, right? Reduce taxation, losing tax payment for American people. So why do they do that, right? You think about that. You say about good thing, but not fairly not enough, right? Just think about that with your friend as well. Think about the questions. So guys, how do you find these questions? Is it doable? You guys, give me some ideas for that as well. Can you be able to deliberate this one? This is why I give you this idea is that it gives you thinking about like how companies for company utilize the internal finance as well. So the thing is that like the next step like in the fifth questions, right? You study about a lot of the instrument. Let's hack the firm hashing the user call push option, right? Isn't it? So you should be able to deal with that. For instance, like for in this one, right? You can see that like for Samsung, if you got a case with Samsung, you can see that the Samsung's do products of Samsung staying within Vietnam, or they using Vietnam as the production hub to produce to export worldwide. The question is that do Samsung use Vietnam's as their market, or only using Vietnam as the place to produce something and export?
So I think Samsung just treat Vietnam like a production hub, more like a main market, because our economy is still developing, and we are not the largest market. So then I think they just treat us as market hub,
Alright.
production hub.
All right, good idea. So you do agree that Samsung would probably use us as production hub, right, in this, and they export to other countries. Do agree with that. And what happens? So they are dealing with like exchange rate a lot, right, in this. So when they export things, they pay a lot of worker in Vietnamese dong, right, and they export products in they export products and to exchange for dollar. So what risk they are taking, right, by doing business in Vietnam? That's the question. And how do you dealing with that? So you can understand that if the price of like dong increasing, what happened? So reducing. I mean, $1 can exchange for so much more Vietnamese dongs. It's mean they save more money, isn't it? Right? Because they pay Vietnamese less, right? So they're happy, right? Isn't it? Right? They exchange for low currencies power to exchange for very high level of very strong currency level, which is dollar. So they're happy, right? So what kind of risk they have? They got thinking what gap they should hedging as well. To think about the raw material, where they got raw material from, and do raw material costs be affected by the strand rate as well, and how they can hedge for as well. So this one relative reason for your topic, right? You just study about, and hopefully you can give me some insight as well. And also next question is about the Honda. You mean idea of Honda? Honda, do they see Vietnamese as their markets, or it's just like they produce in Vietnam and export worldwide?
So as far as I know, that Honda is not an exporter. Honda Vietnam is not an exporter. They just serve the domestic market.
So they see Vietnamese as one of their big market is right? So
Yes.
agree with that. Okay, good. And so how can they deal with the exchange rate as well? So it's mean like they is how exchange rate affected their bottom line revenue, isn't it? Right? And how they hedge for that? Right. So you can get an idea for it, right? Isn't it in the final questions? So you have to put the country within in Vietnamese context as well. Mexico, for instance, Nestle, for instance, Mitsubishi Corporation is massive. So let's do one more about like PepsiCo. Anyone idea for PepsiCo? There.
So PepsiCo in Vietnam, they serve the Vietnamese market only, and their production, their whole value chain is almost in completely in Vietnam.
All right. Right, good point. So with cap costs, they are dealing with resilience, you have risk, right? When operation in Vietnamese market. So in the fifth question, you expected for you to, with your group aside, with your side groups, be able specific to me that like which kind of risk they're hedging, which kind of because after you doing a lot of operations business, right? You understand the operations. You should be able to point out that like why they put the factory over there, for instance, the business over there, for instance. Why is that? For instance, so for instance, like in Honda, they say the Vietnamese market is their main target, and they are dealing with the exchange risk, right? Exchange risk is that the fluctuations of like imported product, for instance, because it become more expensive if you import it within outside of Vietnam, because Vietnam is losing money, right? So what happened? You have to dealing with the thing is that like if you be able to produce something within Vietnam, you have to do taxation, the incentive for that. And the next thing is that you have to do the exchange risk. So do they be able to produce something within Vietnam? So what they benefit as well. So give me again like the real action for the company hedging again that risk as well. Can be like they building more factory within Vietnam to reduce the taxations, and also helping about the exchange rate risk as well. Or they're using some kind of instrument. They should using some kind of instrument. Like I think like you should be able to like as the advisor, you say like within that movement of currency, within that movement of like your operation, you should be using that cap financial hedging to reduce to hedge again the risk that the cost material become over the place, right? So any more question? Any more question about the question I give to you? So that question is that like you want to do like a split into your groups. I can do that as well to for you to discuss do it right now. I want to do it at home. So you have no objection for that one. Hello, can you hear me as well? Um, uh, not if you no more questions, so be prepared for these assignments on the 10 approach. And next week we give you the idea about for the country as well. Because why I give you the topic for you to find out, because later on when you look for, because you can close to get the job in the future. And ideally for you to look at like if you work for investment consulting or whatever related to finance, the key thing is that you have to, before you invest in the country, before you advise or invest in the companies, advise for the department, for so on, you should be able to understand how the company structures and how they place what is the revenues driven, where coming from, we got segment, we got subsidiaries that they relied on, and your works will be like supporting that, advising that, right? So kind of things like, and if you think that the company doing so well, you can invest into that as well. So company that things will be related for you to in the coming years, and that question will be repeated as well. On way understand the business structures before investing or doing anything as well. So hopefully that and for multinational companies and as well, and they operate in different countries. And you can see that if you work for some country and you see that they're moving the factories. For if you work in finance, like you work finance, we work in the Nike factory as well, and you see that their movement, they're closing down a lot of contract in within Vietnam and moving the factory outside, right? Bangladesh, for instance, and you know what happened? It's a good chance for you to pack your stuff and apply for other countries, apply for other companies, right? Isn't it? Right? So you can understand that at some point the company they have to be able to reduce the cost season to maximize their profit. One key thing that they will move the factory about around the world, and somehow you could be affected if you don't understand how structure of that as well, and what is the incentive behind that they moving their factory around the world. In case if you work for once. All right. Any more questions? Hello. All right, thought we are done for today, and see you times.
Teacher, you say that next week we will discuss more about the country topic, right? So it means we have two presentation or what?
No. I will teach you about give you a topic about the countries. You will pick the country.
The country of the company we do.
No, not the country that you're going to do. Different countries, because different topic as well. The next week will be like you will be given about similar this one, few countries, right? All right, few countries, and the question will be different as well.
So it means it's two different assignment, right?
Two different presentation, completely different.
Okay.
They are not linked to each other.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, so this one will be 10 for. So the next one will be next presentations. 10 over here. 10 over here. The final one I'm going to meet you is this one. First of I think the first of May. I think first of May is the final ones. I'm going to meet you as well. And next for the coming the next 2 weeks for this one and this one and this one, what happened? Like you, I will this one will be give you idea for the country. This one I will give you some exercise to do and finally and two presentations. You don't have to write anything. That's it. It's just for support for your presentation. Presentation could be last for 20 minutes. You got 10 minutes for I'm asking the question.